We won a game, so what? Winning doesn't mean success, at least not in my dictionary. Success means I'm the best man, I'm the best servant, I'm the best son of God I can be. I'm at my best self when I'm loving people. I'm at my best self when nobody sees me. As introduced, my name is Branden Pannell. I'm an Ave alum. I feel old standing in the room amongst you all. I graduated in May of 2025. I'm also the assistant women's basketball coach here under Jelani Akil. So I've been doing that, and I will be doing that for a little while. I'm also here getting my master's in communication as well. Gentlemen, tonight, we're going to talk about success. I wish you the courage to be warm when the world would prefer that you be cool. I wish you success sufficient to your needs. I wish you failure to temper that success. I wish you joy in all your days. I wish you sadness so that you may better measure that joy. Did any words, did any phrase, did anything strike? It's okay if it didn't. Yes, sir.
Joy.
Joy. Yes, sir.
Temperance.
Okay, temperance.
I like the phrase, success sufficient to your needs.
Success sufficient to your needs. I remember back during one of my playing days, we had a game and we were over in the field house and I was on the bench. It was a really, really close game. And one of the guys on the team said, "Man, Jesus, it would be awesome if you could help us win this game." And I'm like, what? I mean, like, we want to win, but like, why are we, I don't understand. And so I turned to him and I said, wait, why would you call on the Lord to help us win this game? And he was like, why not? I'm at my best self and I'm on my knees at 12 in the morning pleading to God to forgive me for my sins. That's when I'm at my best. I don't know if I'm at my best when in basketball games. Show of hands, you all should have seen it. We not that old, that young in here. How many of you have ever seen the movie Rocky? Beautiful, I love it. Raise your hand if you have not seen the movie Rocky. Ooh, okay. All right, quick synopsis, right? Rocky is this boxer, underdog, not very successful. He's an older boxer. He's really at the end of his prime. Nevertheless, he gets a chance to fight the heavyweight champion of the world, Apollo Creed. Now he goes the distance. He doesn't win, but he goes the distance. Nobody has ever gone the distance before with Apollo Creed. My favorite part of the film is not when Rocky goes the distance. It's not with that beautiful training montage that they have. It's not where he's being so kind and he's wooing Adrian. It's not where he's being super cautious and intimate with his dog Butkus. My favorite part of the film is afterwards, when the fight is over and he wheels his wheelchair into the doorway of Apollo Creed's room. And he knocks on the door, he's like, yo, Apollo. And Apollo's all laid up and beat up and he's got bandages on his eyes and Rocky looks a mess himself. And he says, yo, Apollo. Apollo's like, And Rocky's like, did you really give me your best? And Apollo's like, yeah, man. And he goes back to sleep. And Rocky says, thank you. And he rolls away. At that moment, that's when Rocky became successful. You see, I like to think that if this movie was written with the scene prior to that, it would go something like this. Rocky's in his bed, Adrian is probably at his bedside, and he's thinking to himself, did that just happen? Like, he's thinking to himself, did I really just go the distance with the heavyweight champion of the world? Like, did that actually just happen? And then he goes, no, we got to see if this was real or not. So then he gets up, wheels himself into the room, and he goes to Apollo and says, hey, Apollo, like, is this for real? Did you really give me your best? And I love it. He becomes successful at that point because it proves that he was more focused on the journey. He was more focused on the growth than he was the reward or the outcome. He was so in love with the idea of not being who he previously was. You see, if Apollo actually gave him his best, that would mean that Rocky was enough. That would mean that all of the work that he put in meant something. But more importantly, it would mean that he grew. He wasn't the same person at the beginning that we saw. He was different. He went through something, challenges, tribulations, obstacles. He had to overcome something to become something different. He was no longer the same man. He grew. Gentlemen, the first part of success that we're going to talk about, we become successful when we commit to growing. We become successful when we grow. All right, let's move into the next piece. I wish you gladness to overbalance grief. I wish you humor and a twinkle in the eye. I wish you glory and the strength to bear its burdens. Anything touch? So it's okay if it didn't. I like that. The one thing for me that strikes is the word grief. I wish you gladness to overbalance grief. When I was about 13 years old, I played a lot of AAU basketball. How many of you guys ever played on travel teams, whether it was soccer, basketball, football, any of that stuff? Right? Okay, so you guys, right? I got some athletes in the room. Y'all know what it's like to travel and to be a kid playing sports. And one of my teammates was going through something. And he came to me one day and he said, Branden, well, first off, I asked him, I said, how are you? He said, I'm not too good. I said, well, what's wrong? He said, you see, my brother, something's going on with his heart. He has some sort of heart condition. He could die. And so I'm like, man, that ain't too good. And so I try to comfort him as any 13-year-old friend would. And now I knew his brother. Like I said, me and him played on the same team. So we went to each other's houses. You know, we slept over. We did the whole video game things. Like, we spent time together. I knew his brother very well. His name was Nasir. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I think he'll be okay. I said, bro, don't worry. Like, it'll be okay. The worst thing you can do is worry. Like, we're going to pray about it, but just be there for him, support him. I tried to console him. And I was so crushed because I said, man, how could I be so dumb? I completely neglected what he was telling me. He was saying, my brother may not be here anymore. And I brushed it off. And I remember we were at the funeral and I had never been to a funeral of my friend before. None of my friends had ever died up until that point. And we're walking and I see, and he's all, and I'm like, wow, like, how could I be so stupid? Gentlemen, the second principle of success that we are going to talk about tonight is valuing time. Tomorrow is not promised. My grandmother, I think she's 74, 75 years old. And she has her church friends. And she hangs out with her church friends almost every weekend. Once a month, they try to get together and have dinner. So one weekend, my grandmother calls me. Hey, Branden, how you doing? I'm good, Grams. How are you? I call her Grams. She said, I'm good. We just came back from dinner. We had a great time. Me, Miss Reggie, Miss Joyce, all of us hung out. Jesse, it was awesome. Then 5 days later, I got another call from my grandmother. I said, Grandma, what's wrong? She said, Reggie's gone. I said, Grandma, what do you mean Reggie's gone? She said, man, her son walked in and found her and she was no longer breathing. And my heart dropped, y'all. There are people at a point in their life where their friends are dying. Like, nobody could have told her that that was going to happen. There was nothing she could have done to prepare her for a phone call saying, hey, your friend that you've known for 40, 50, maybe even 60 years, the same one that you had dinner with last weekend, she's not here anymore. I'm sorry. We don't know what happened. Like, nothing prepares us for moments like that. Gentlemen, we become successful. We become better servants of God. We become more like Christ when we learn to value our time.